University will preside over today's forum.
Distinguished guests and friends, welcome to the plenary session of GFUP, the Global Forum of University Presidents 2021, on site at the main building of Tsinghua University and online across the globe. My name is Yang Bin, Vice President and Provost of Tsinghua University. It's my great honor to moderate today's proceedings. Over the next 2.5 hours, we will continue our in-depth discussion to underscore the forum's theme, Innovate for the Future, Vision and New Mission of Universities. The previous 4 GFUP sessions' rich contributions over this insightful week are so important and valuable. We are delighted to facilitate this truly hybrid forum, which has engaged more than 330 universities worldwide, 77 international organizations, academic institutions, university alliances, and industry partners. On site, we have over 300 representatives from leading Chinese universities and high schools. Today's plenary session will feature thematic speeches and roundtable discussions by presidents of 22 universities across 6 continents. We will start with the topic of more open universities, followed by the topic of more integrative and resilient universities. Today's session will also release the GFUP consensus, which has been designed to encapsulate the forum's outcomes and guide the vision and mission of universities. To formally commence today's session, I am delighted to invite the President of Tsinghua University, Professor Qiu Yong, to deliver opening remarks. Please.
Presidents, friends, and colleagues, welcome to the Global Forum of University Presidents 2021. This event brings us together in the spirit of celebration, collaboration, and as leaders of our shared future. I'm grateful that so many have joined the forum here at Tsinghua and online around the world. Thank you for being part of this historic event. Not far from where I'm standing is one of Tsinghua's most iconic monuments, a sundial, which was presented by the graduating class of 1920. The sundial bears the maxim, 贤胜于言 in Chinese, and the factor nonverbal in Latin. Actions speak louder than words. It serves as a reminder to all Tsinghua people that their responsibility and the call to action are as unceasing as the passage of time itself. As a marker of time, the sundial reflects the past, announces the present, and carries us into the future. Yet it measures time from the sun that we all stand beneath, reminding us of our connection to one another. We all have our sundials. We all have our responsibilities. And we are all part of the same constellation of brilliance and human aspirations that is higher education. As I pass the sundial every morning, I can sense the resilience of the university around me, from its students who share the dream of improving the world, to its faculty whose tireless efforts ushered in a new era of learning and brought timely advances in the fight against COVID-19, to its leadership who believe universities are strongest when they are open to each other and responsive to the needs of society. Higher education is facing profound challenges that unite us now in a different way. We face global health, access, and mobility challenges, which have required us to find global solutions. Like many other university presidents, I began thinking of ways in which the institution I lead can harness its unique placement, its institutional character, and its resources to take action. Today, and over the past week, we have attempted to address this forum's central theme, Innovate for the Future, Vision and New Mission for Universities. I appreciate the efforts made by all contributors. Your insights and wisdom have been essential, particularly as the sessions culminate in today's plenary. We started with the theme, University and the Cultural Space, looking back into the future, moved to global carbon neutrality, universities' responsibility and action, then explored rethinking the future and the new mission of online education, followed by global university leadership. Throughout these sessions, I heard many stories of action, and I have been inspired by the strength, resilience, and determinations each one of you has shown. The historical context of this forum can be considered from three perspectives. Each provides insights for the present and lessons for the future. The first is the profound and urgent nature of global challenges that are with us now and on the horizon. In the last 16 months, higher education has been tested by a once-in-a-century pandemic, but COVID-19 has only added to a long list of severely disruptive global challenges, like climate change, social inequality, and the threat to international collaboration and exchange. Through this test, we now understand the effort needed to overcome threats of this magnitude, and we have proven that even closer collaboration will be needed to overcome future challenges. The second perspective is the approaching millennial marking point of university education. Universities are among the longest surviving institutions in human history. This reminds us of the enduring potential and the hopeful expectations of universities going forward, as well as universities' increasing capacity to benefit society. The third perspective is Tsinghua's 110th anniversary, This is a good time to explore the past, present, and future of the university's development, and to celebrate our collaborative achievements with our cherished global partners. The three perspectives have made this forum uniquely tied to the present. Following the maxim of actions speak louder than words, we have gathered together in an innovative way to embrace the responsibility that leadership has given us and to meet our societal need to define the vision and the new mission of universities. I now hand the proceedings of the plenary session back to Professor Yang Bing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President Chiu. Tsinghua University is committed to working with international organizations to tackle the world's most urgent challenges and realize UN SDGs. His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the UN, is a preeminent supporter of a world that is more sustainable, equitable, climate-friendly, and peaceful. His campaign for a decade of action and SDGs realization has been an immense source of inspiration for greater engagement between higher education and the UN. The Secretary General has sent a message to the GFUP. Mr. Siddhartha Chatterjee, UN Resident Coordinator in China, will kindly announce the message on the Secretary General's behalf. Please, Siddhartha.
President of Tsinghua University, faculty, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I am Siddhartha Chatterjee, the United Nations Resident Coordinator to China, and I have the proud privilege of reading out the message of the United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, to Tsinghua University. I quote, "It gives me great pleasure to greet Tsinghua University and the Global Forum of University Presidents. You gather as the COVID-19 continues to upend lives and economies across the world, endangering our work for peace, human rights, and the Sustainable Development Goals. After a year of enormous suffering, today there is palpable hope thanks to the rollout of vaccines. Our focus must be on ensuring that everyone, everywhere, can be vaccinated as soon as possible. Vaccines must be seen as a global public good. The pandemic has spotlighted the need to address long-standing global fragilities and inequalities. Recovery is our chance to get on track with determined efforts to build an inclusive economy, achieve gender equality, and safeguard the natural environment. Addressing the climate crisis is a crucial part of the picture. The world must raise ambition, reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions by mid-century, and ensure a breakthrough in adaptation. Universities have a central role to play in addressing these challenges by nurturing new generations of young leaders and global citizens, by promoting digital cooperation, and by helping to ensure access to quality education. The UN Academic Impact Initiative, a vibrant network of students, scientists, researchers, think tanks, higher education institutions, educational partners in nearly 150 countries continues to do virtual work, and I invite you to join them if you have not done so already. The United Nations looks forward to continued partnership with universities and educators worldwide as we work together to make multilateralism fit for the 21st century and to build more equitable, resilient, sustainable future for all. Please accept my very best wishes for a successful forum. Congratulations, Tsinghua University.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chatterjee, and sincere thanks to His Excellency Antonio Guterres. We now move into the thematic discussion. The first discussion is themed More Open Universities. This part will be divided into 5 president speeches and a roundtable discussion. I will introduce the presenters in sequence. First, let's hear from President Zimmer of the University of Chicago. Please.
It is my great pleasure to join you for this year's Global Forum of University Presidents and for the 110th anniversary of the founding of Tsinghua University. On behalf of the University of Chicago, I would like to extend our sincere congratulations to Tsinghua on this exciting milestone. The topic for today's discussion is Innovate for the Future, Vision and New Missions of Universities. It is my belief that for universities to effectively plan for the future, it is important that they have a sense of clarity about their fundamental mission and what enduring values are critical to realizing that mission. At the University of Chicago, our mission is to provide students the most empowering education by developing intellectual skills and habits of mind that enable them to think critically about and confront the most complex of issues and problems. At the same time, we aim to provide our faculty with a research environment that allows them to produce profound and original work of significant impact. Those, together with the impact that our faculty and alumni have on society, define our primary missions. In order to fulfill these missions, we remain committed to a set of values we believe are critical. An environment of intellectual challenge, open discourse, free expression, intellectual freedom, and paradigm-challenging and rigorous inquiry, in which all are free to argue, learn to recognize and challenge their own assumptions as well as those of others, openly test ideas, confront widely divergent perspectives, develop new syntheses, and embrace complexity. Openness is an enduring value at the University of Chicago. Since our earliest days, we have welcomed faculty and students from a variety of backgrounds, both from within the United States and from around the world. We are committed to building an environment of open inquiry and discourse among our faculty, researchers, and students. We search for answers across the traditional disciplinary boundaries and seek partnerships with other universities and organizations around the world. It is for this reason that we have established a presence in Asia through our centers in Beijing, Hong Kong, and Delhi, and enjoy strong working relationships with many universities in the region. In our view, being exposed to and understanding different perspectives, ideas, approaches, assumptions, and cultures is a key feature of intellectual challenge, and thus a commitment to openness in every facet of our work is essential to expanding the boundaries of our knowledge and understanding, analyzing and resolving the critical problems of our time, and providing students with the intellectual skills and habits of mind that will serve them well in their futures, whatever those futures may hold. The increasing scale and complexity of society's problems requires universities and their partners to take a more open and integrative approach, utilizing knowledge and expertise from across the disciplines and building partnerships that bring together the power of public and private universities, government, and industry in a way that amplifies the collective strengths of each partner. We have seen the value of this in recent years as science, medicine, and engineering have converged in order to find new ways of addressing complex health challenges. When we consider such issues as sustainability and climate change, technology and policy, and the myriad of social, economic, and cultural challenges associated with urbanization across the globe, and the widespread impact of the global pandemic, it is clear that the solutions to these problems will not be found by individuals working in isolation, but through collaboration and partnership, the integration of knowledge from a variety of fields and disciplines, and a well-defined sense of purpose and values. Universities have always been sites of progress and change, and their continuing success and resilience is dependent on their ability to adapt to the challenges of their time. In fact, being ambitious as a university means constantly looking for new and powerful ways to realize the enduring values and mission. Changes that drift away from the mission and values can be destructive and distracting rather than positive. The clarity of purpose and action, born from a commitment to institutional mission and values, will enable universities to be both dynamic and resilient as they rise to meet the challenges and opportunities that the future brings. Thank you again for asking me to speak at this year's forum. I wish you all an engaging and productive day of discussion on this important topic.
That was a brilliant start to this thematic discussion. We now proceed to President Fujii of the University of Tokyo. Please.
Over the past few years, Japan has been promoting and pushing forward the scenario achieving Society 5.0, a concept of an inclusive and sustainable society where diversity is fully valued and everyone can live a life they choose. All sectors in Japan, government, industry, and academia, have been working together to realize this ideal future. How quickly this can be achieved is difficult to say, as there are a number of milestones that must be reached first. The University of Tokyo itself has a number of items that it must improve before the global society fully accepts, without reservation, any words we put forward. In this period of rapid global changes, not to mention the current difficulties brought on by the spread of novel coronavirus, university as a whole must lead in creating changes using the knowledge that they have produced over the years. Considering the current global situation, the pandemic, extreme climate conditions, political conflicts, and poverty, just to mention a few, the actions from us, universities, must take place sooner rather than later, and people must re-evaluate what we value. With social changes taking place rapidly in recent times, and the prerequisites changing drastically, universities must now, more than ever, take a long-term perspective and develop new ways of thinking about how universities themselves should be. In addition to the economic developments and growth that we have experienced so far, we must find new ways of development that focus on diverse values such as climate change and the livelihood of people in different regions. The Charter of the University of Tokyo, which came into force in 2003, states that the university shall dedicate itself to pursue the truth and universal realities transcending the national, ethnical, and language barriers. We believe that it is important to promote development that covers diverse values. Now, although I have just mentioned that this was taken from the Charter of the University of Tokyo, I believe it is a basic concept that all universities hold and follow in one form or another. I believe that dialogue and empathy are important keywords for universities. The increasingly complex global challenges cannot be solved solely by the expertise of a corporation nor a university alone. It is necessary for society as a whole to encourage people to change their behavior by making dialogue with people both inside and outside the university more active, fostering empathy with society and the world, as well as working together to form a common vision of how they will act towards a better future. Promoting such initiatives will also position the intangible value of the knowledge created by universities within the economic mechanism, forming a virtual circle to attract further support and investments. My term as President of the University of Tokyo has just begun. In fact, it started only 24 days ago at the beginning of that month. So looking at things on a smaller scale, closer to home, my own mission is to first make the University of Tokyo a place of learning where people from all over the world would like to be part of. People are the most valuable assets of a university in terms of its research, education, as well as operation. It is important to secure time for these people so that they may make use of it for their creative activities. I see the forced transition to carrying out a lot of our activities to online following the spread of COVID-19 as a new opportunity. I hope that we'll be able to improve the quality of the time used by the members of the university through the realization of a digital campus by promoting digital transformation in a variety of fields, including research, teaching, and office work. Thank you very much for your attention.
Very insightful sentiments indeed. Next, we'll have Rector Ubertini of the University of Bologna, please.
Dear President, dear colleagues, I'm very honored to be here today on the occasion of the celebrations of Tsinghua University's 110th anniversary. Looking at the future of universities and the universities of the future, I believe that more open universities is a global need. Indeed, I see open as one of the two key qualities that universities should have in order to successfully tackle the challenges that lie ahead, together with engaged. So, more open and more engaged universities. Let me briefly focus on openness. As rector of University of Bologna, I am aware of the history that I carry with me. The Alma Mater Studiorum was founded as an open institution, a universitas, with the aim of responding to the real needs of society. As early as 1088, the University of Bologna was already striving for internationality, that is, to have no boundaries, either physical or intellectual. This is where we come from. Open is in our DNA. Universities should try to include openness in our daily practices. And here in Bologna, being open is part of our strategic plan. Indeed, we firmly believe that openness should be applied to all our mission. Open science, open access, open teaching, open innovation. We should be open in our dialogue with different stakeholders and society, in our collaboration as well as co-creation of knowledge. Openness is meant here in its broader meaning, including inclusivity and diversity. In my view, university is no longer a tall ivory tower, but should be a large square. Alongside openness, engagement is key, engagement with society towards a sustainable future. Being engaged in socially relevant projects and processes is the only way for universities to bring real change and to lead the way for a better future that will impact on everyone's life. Engagement with society will allow for a transition towards a sustainable world. And we all are aware of how much we need this transition. Let me make a wish for all of us that this value will continue to guide communities of science and of scientists for the next 110 years and beyond. Congratulations to Tsinghua University.
What a marvelous speech. Let's now hear from President Shi of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology.
Today we have a chance to share and exchange ideas in terms of our own thinking for each of our universities in this very unique global forum of university president. My topic is focusing on expanding frontiers, converging minds, because we at HKUST have been working very hard in the last several years in terms of totally overhauling, developing a new framework, which I'd like to share. Fundamentally, based on our newest strategic framework, we have been reflecting that after 30 years being established in 1991, HKUST has experienced a lot, along with many other partners globally. And we join and share many very much similar, compatible academic thinking. Now we look at ourselves. We figure that we need to have maybe broader and a more adaptive way of developing our next 30 years. Fundamentally, our university has been led pretty much by the disciplinary programs in the form of schools, with business school, science, engineering, humanity and social science, supported by an interdisciplinary program office. And each discipline is fundamentally curiosity-driven for every member to freely pursue one's interest and develop capabilities and expertise within the defined domain. On the other hand, we also understand that there is a greater need nowadays without COVID-19, very fast development of the inequity and the inequality between regions, within countries, and across society. We need to have very strong commitment in terms of mission and courage to pursue, even within academic institutions, so we can join hands in helping solve and responding to world problems. And these must be cross-disciplinary by nature and by definition. So in that sense, we are developing a system-wide new framework. In order to accomplish this kind of plan, we are fast developing a new campus in the form of HKUST Guangzhou, which is in the city of Guangzhou, supported by Guangzhou City. And with the second campus under HKUST Guangzhou, we are now able to do a dual approach, so pursuing both well-established disciplinary-based programs as well as a system-wide cross-disciplinary program. So they are covered by the entire HKUST system. However, the emphasis will be disciplinary pursuit in Clearwater Bay campus and cross-disciplinary pursuit in HKUST Guangzhou. And that way, we can see completely complementary approaches with new and additional resources, with substantially added faculty and students, and then members from both campuses can join hands in updating our approach. And the ideas is illustrated here in terms of the functions, systems, society, information corresponding to science, engineering, humanities, social science, and business. Finally, I'd like to say that there's another example we would like to share. Namely, we have been treating our Clearwater Bay campus in Hong Kong in the form of sustainable smart campus and as a living lab. Over the last 2 years, we have funded 26 projects and participated by over 400 students, more than 150 faculty members, and we have committed 50 million Hong Kong dollars of our own budget over the 3-year period. So this way, we can truly test our ideas, our frontier research outcome, and see whether they can scale up and be implemented in our own campus first, then to Hong Kong, then to the region, then hopefully internationally. Again, thank you for joining me in this session, and I look forward to meeting everybody in person. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent to hear those insights and very brief explorations. We now have Rector Kropachev of St. Petersburg University. Please.
И каждый народ нуждается в изобретательных инженерах, опытных врачах и мудрых учителях. Поэтому существуют разные модели вузов: инженерно-технические, медицинские, педагогические, и все они могут успешно выполнять свою миссию. Но особую роль в системе образования любой страны играют комплексные университеты. Мы в России называем их классическими. Поэтому развитие комплексных университетов как инструмента инновационного и технологического развития государства и обеспечения конкурентоспособности лучших национальных университетов на мировом научно-образовательном пространстве входит в число национальных приоритетов как России, так и Китая. Не случайно статус главных классических университетов России, Санкт-Петербургского государственного университета и Московского государственного университета имени Ломоносова закреплен отдельным федеральным законом. Основные черты такого университета понятны каждому. Это вуз, в котором ведутся преподавание и исследования по широчайшему кругу областей знаний. Главное конкурентное преимущество классического университета – его богатая мультидисциплинарность. И все направления знаний в университете существуют и развиваются не сами по себе, а благодаря взаимодействию и сотрудничеству специалистов из разных областей. Почему это важно? Поясню примером из области образования. Сегодня врач должен использовать сложнейшие, а главное, постоянно изменяющиеся и улучшающиеся приборы и методы для установления диагноза и назначения лечения. Новые знания накапливаются так быстро, что преподаватели медицинского вуза в силу занятости в учебном процессе не всегда поспевают за прогрессом технологий. Как следствие, приступивший к практике выпускник может столкнуться с проблемами в разных областях современной медицины, недостатком современных знаний и навыков. В классическом университете проблема актуальной подготовки врачей решается просто за счет комплексности присутствующих областей науки и образования. Со студентами работают специалисты, которые сегодня занимаются исследованиями и разработками на переднем крае науки, в конкретных областях. В ходе обучения студент максимально погружен в актуальную науку, и это позволяет ему быстрее и эффективнее адаптироваться к любым новым технологиям. И как показывает наш опыт, медицинские учреждения России берут выпускников медицинского факультета нашего университета охотнее, чем выпускников чисто медицинских вузов Санкт-Петербурга и других вузов России. В области исследований проявляется еще одна важная особенность классических университетов. Именно в них осуществляется основная часть фундаментальных исследований, без которых невозможны прикладные разработки, инновационные технологии и продукты. При этом мультидисциплинарность классического университета позволяет вести исследования не только в традиционных областях знаний, но и в пограничных областях. И это, как показывает современный этап развития науки, наиболее перспективная сфера научной деятельности. Узкоспециализированный вуз не может самостоятельно решать многие междисциплинарные задачи и вынужден искать партнеров на стороне. Комплексный университет создает собственные междисциплинарные команды, что не только повышает эффективность разработок, но и решает многие экономические, инфраструктурные и организационно-управленческие проблемы. Мы прошли трудный путь восстановления внутреннего единства, восстановления мультидисциплинарности. И это позволило нам повысить привлекательность образовательных программ для российских и зарубежных абитуриентов, дать новые стимулы научным исследованиям и международному научному сотрудничеству, стать национальным лидером по числу онлайн-курсов на российской и международных платформах онлайн-образования. С гордостью замечу, что онлайновые курсы СПбГУ являются нашим вкладом в деятельность Всемирного союза МОК, членами и соучредителями которого мы стали по приглашению университета Тsinghua. Они были первыми из российских вузов, представлены на китайской платформе Сюэтан. Мультидисциплинарность открывает также широкие возможности для сотрудничества классических университетов, в том числе международного сотрудничества. Напомню, что в конце 2018 года в университете Цинхуа прошли дни нашего университета. В 2019 году в нашем университете была проведена серия научных и образовательных мероприятий в рамках дней Цинхуа в СПбГУ. В декабре 2019 года в Пекине был открыт Российский научно-исследовательский институт в университете Цинхуа. Пандемия замедлила развитие сотрудничества, но она не в силах его остановить. В настоящий момент между нашими университетами продолжается работа по ряду проектов, среди которых организация совместного российско-китайского конкурса студенческого предпринимательства, открытие на базе университета Цинхуа Центра тестирования СПбГУ по русскому языку как иностранному и создание совместных магистерских программ. Есть у нас и много других плодотворных идей для развития сотрудничества. В заключении своего выступления хочу еще раз поздравить коллектив университета Цинхуа со славным юбилеем. Как говорит китайская пословица, мастерство приобретается с опытом. 110 лет деятельности – это достаточный опыт, который позволил университету Цинхуа приобрести мастерство, обеспечивающее ему место в элите мировых университетов. Поздравляю!
Thanks to all contributors. To delve further into the issue of more open universities, we move into the first roundtable discussion. Let's welcome the 5 panelists to the stage. Wu Zhaohui, President, Zhejiang University. Yang Zhenbin, Chairman of the University Council, Shanghai Jiaotong University. Zhou Yu, President, Harbin Institute of Technology. Wang Guangqian, President, Qinghai University. Song Yonghua, Rector, University of Macau. This session is moderated by distinguished Professor Wang Hui, Director of Tsinghua's Institute for Advanced Study in the Humanities and Social Sciences. Please.
Well, let me take this opportunity to extend my sincere gratitude to all the brilliant speakers, and also thank the Tsinghua University for inviting me here to moderate this session. And all their previous presentations show us that what we're facing toward into the future as universities and what we should do to better fulfill our missions and vision. And their speeches also demonstrate that there is more for us to further explore. As Francesco Fagini has mentioned, open science, open access, open teaching, and open innovation. Very important principles. So in this open access, open education, open innovation, etc., behind all these, what is clear is a long-lasting university principle, which is to challenge existing intelligence so that we can be motivated to create, to find new fields, new disciplines, and to inspire. So the openness of universities, from another aspect, also is shown in its inclusiveness. cross-cultural, international communications can be best demonstrated through the structure of students, faculties, and teachers. They are from different countries, cultures, different family backgrounds, and different races and ages. Many of these teachers and students come from across the world, from different countries, and they are forging closer and more frequent communication and exchanges. Another important thing that impressed me is that we are seeing more interactive relation between research and practice, because this reflects the real needs of the people, the country, the society, and the whole world. So this is a very important tradition for universities to carry forward in the future. That means what we innovate in universities is very significant for the progress of our society and the development of our world. And it is really important for us to focus on engagement and staying current with our times. Another important point is that we're now seeing a lot of application of information technologies, which provide us with preconditions to provide online education and provide more access to more people. And it also reflects the inclusiveness and equity in our education system. All universities are operated based on their own societies. At the same time, universities are open and free. So for universities, this inclusiveness and openness must be open and inclusive in their own unique ways. So now, with great honor, I would like to give the floor to share with us their perspectives. So the first one is the president of Zhejiang University. Now, COVID-19 has now proposed a lot of challenges to universities in terms of openness. So based on your own experience in Zhejiang University, what are the experiences and lessons you learned from that pandemic? Thank you. Well, as we all know that open education is a very successful experience for all the world-class universities, but also it is a quite challenging task for all of us. Now, we're facing unprecedented changes in 100 years, and now we are facing more severe challenges, including geopolitical risks, uncertainties, and many others. So as modern universities in this changing world, there are a lot of issues we need to reflect upon, particularly after this COVID-19 pandemic. We're now seeing the constant precautions in our epidemic control and prevention. We're seeing increasingly more information technologies being applied in all aspects of our life and work. And in terms of the operation of universities, there are so many aspects we need to seriously think about. How to transform our teaching model, how to update our research, and how to revitalize our innovation diagram, and how to facilitate international partnerships. For universities, especially top universities, against this general background of COVID-19, how can we explore a better way to better develop? So here, from the dimension of openness, this is very important for us to consider. We're all presidents from universities. So it is important for us to think about how we can do better. The first point is that in innovating our teaching models, we need to make sure we combine both computer screen and blackboard, which literally means that we need to combine offline and online approaches. We know that in Zhejiang University now, our online platform has offered 12,000 courses to the online students. That actually is opportunity and challenge. And about the online and offline innovations, which is my second point, is that we can invest more in online education while laying equal investment in those offline research and academic researches. For example, together with our partners, we established an international center combining offline and online approaches. We are investing more and motivating more innovation across different disciplines, which proved to be very effective. The next point is that universities are now facing severe challenges and opportunities in their international communications. We need to make sure we localize while doing something like a regional globalization at the same time. That means we really need to create new models. We need to attract more partners. We need to form new types of partnerships. And we set up a new international campus, which is a very important platform for international communication and a platform to attract new partners. Last year, there were a lot of students couldn't go to America to continue their studies, so they stay on that platform for further study. So now we have established new models and new diagrams in our international cooperations. So the above-mentioned points are all my observations about how universities in this modern age can be more open and more inclusive. Again, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank President Zhou Yong and the organizers. I'd like to say congratulations to the 110th anniversary and happy birthday. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your wonderful sharing. Now my next questions go to Professor Yang Zhenbin and President Zhou Yu. Now we're living in a globalized world, but also there are voices about deglobalization. So in this context, how do you understand the challenges universities are facing? And what do you think these challenges are? And how do your universities are tackling these challenges? Well, very good questions, but very difficult to answer, actually. Actually, I used to work in Tsinghua University and study here for 24 years. So again, my congratulations to my alma mater. Happy birthday. And on behalf of my university, I would like to offer my congratulations on Tsinghua University. So my perspectives including the following. First, we know the boundary between universities and societies are kind of fading away, and more private sectors and social forces are entering into the operation of universities. For example, we together work with some private companies to better educate and develop our students, for example, with some automobile company. So for students, they no longer just learn in their classrooms. They also work in those factories, in the workshops to better learn from practice. So I believe the walls between universities and societies are disappearing. The second important impression is that now universities are more than ever in need of cooperation. So no university alone can develop better in this modern age, and particularly when they're faced with severe challenges. And I think we have all learned that during this pandemic. And 6 universities, actually there are about more than 300 students from 6 overseas universities are now having access to domestic education thanks to the partnerships between Chinese universities and their overseas counterparts. So yes, we do have a lot of challenges and existing problems, but still we must see that given this huge and urgent demand for openness and inclusiveness. We must find our way out, and we must know how we can better adapt to these new changes. Now, faced with pandemic, we now have more information technologies. We have internet, and we have online courses. But we really need to give a deep thinking about how we can transform so that we can do better in the future. And back in the days when I was in Tsinghua, Tsinghua established the 21st Century Research and Development Center.
Professor Xue Lan was introduced to the university. At that time, when we talk about public administration, everyone were kind of aghast with the new term, but now everyone's very familiar with this term. And the new integrated circuit school also is a new change. And I understand the progress and evolution of this industry would go from transistors to semiconductors to nowadays integrated circuit. The names might not change much, but the meanings of all of these terms have changed subtly. And so universities need to seek change and also adapt to change. So we often talk about this as university leadership. We need to understand the evolution history of disciplines. Why was it born in the first place? And how are we going to improve it, change it, and then make it more effective to today's society? And we need to be more open to achieve that. And finally, I would like to say something. When I was studying and working at Tsinghua, we have heard from a past leader where there are things we have to do and there are things we must not do. It is actually easier for us to do things because there are many things facing us, many tasks. But with all the temptations, how are you going to remain unswerving and choose the things that you should be doing and never engage in things that you should never do? And many governments, local governments would say, we would build a hospital for you. We'll give it to you for free. So are you going to take that temptation? If you are going to do that, how are you going to do that? You can't really have a monopoly across all national hospitals, for example. And so we need to really be very selective with these projects and opportunities. We need to grasp the opportunities and do things that are right. And we need to be able to stay strong against the temptations and not things you should not be doing. And that is the way for universities to adapt to the new environment. Thank you. Thank you very much, Party Secretary Professor Yang. President Zhou Yu, please. Thank you very much for the question, moderator. On behalf of my university, I would like to first of all extend a sincere congratulations to the students and faculty as well as alumni in China and abroad for the 110th anniversary of Tsinghua University. We talk about a greater openness for universities. It is very significant. In China, when we talk about openness, it is an icon and a symbol for China in this new era. And this is very much in line with the national development strategies. It is very significant. So I would like to talk about a few very brief points. The first one is our mindset needs to be open. Our principles need to be open. Our universities are rooted in China, but we need to be leaning on the expertise and best practices of leading universities around the world, their cultures and their philosophy. And so the spirit and the philosophy is the soul and spirit of a university. And technologies and disciplines are actually outcomes of such principles and philosophy. So we need to lean on the existing philosophy and principles of the leading renowned universities, and we develop ourselves and innovate ourselves and achieve excellence. And we need to be tolerant and inclusive of all the diversity. We often say that the ocean is great because it takes in all the small streams and rivers. In fact, university is the same. We have to be tolerant and inclusive of all the different diverse cultures, and we need to learn from our counterparts abroad, and we need to form consensus as we see fit. And we need to appreciate other people's strength and share our own strength so this benefits the entire humanity. We need to be patriotic, and we also need to be very open-minded and inclusive of all the different cultures around the world, and encourage technological innovation and have collaboration as our tool and vehicle for development. And then we need to be very effective. When we manage a university, we want ourselves to be unique. So we need to have a global vision. We also need to be very pragmatic and practical, and we need to make our universities very unique, relevant to the region and the country. For our university, we have just celebrated our 100th anniversary, and we have received a lot of support and congratulations for our anniversary. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the colleagues, especially Professor Qiu Yong. And we need to maintain this unique edge, and we always wanted to make sure we maintain that unique position in the development strategy of our country. And we wanted to make sure that we maintain the edge in many of the strength disciplines. But of course, we need to work very hard to learn from universities in China and abroad. We learn from our peers here in China, those that are represented here by my fellow panelists. We are in a region where it is economically less developed, so we do need to learn from the other regions and other universities. In terms of talent cultivation, I am in charge of teaching in my university for a long time, and we're trying to find the balance between general education and specific disciplinary education, and we're still exploring the right balance. And the industries are facing a lot of changes. Nowadays, industries are no longer looking for technical experts alone. They want to find balanced, multi-skilled talents. And so we need to foster our students based on those new needs. And there are new measures that we take to make sure that this happens. I'll wrap up here. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much, Professor Zhou Yu. The next question I would like to raise to Professor Wang Guangqian of Tsinghua University and Professor Song Yonghua of Macau University. Digital technology is now bringing about a new spatial revolution, and this actually challenges universities as we are. How do you see these challenges? And looking ahead, when we're building greater open universities, what action plans should we take to counter the challenges faced by mankind? Thank you very much for the question. From the moderator, you actually asked me a different question from the one I prepared for. I was actually going to talk about how we manage a university in the frontier regions. Qinghai is the most backward region of China. I think I should hand over the microphone probably to my colleague next door, because I am not in a good position to answer this question. Qinghai University has been allowed to have 25% of our courses being online courses supplied by universities like Tsinghua University. And there is actually a conflict because our teachers, our faculty members' salary is actually hooked to the hours they teach, so they don't want to give up this 25% of the hours. I think that we need to be deeply rooted in our local communities and serve that local community. We are on the Tibetan Qinghai Plateau, and we have very distinct seasons. and we have seen that the ecological barrier is there. The traditional Tibetan medicine is very strong there. We have some very special biodiversity species over there, and these are all our strengths as well as our challenges. In our region, there are only 2 Tier 1 universities. One is the Tibetan University, and the other is ourselves. And we really need to resolve some of the plateau-related issues. If we can resolve a quarter or even a third of the questions, then we would be highly commended. I have been deployed to Tsinghua University, and I think this is a sign that Tsinghua University is very open, because they actually invited an outsider like me to go and be their president. Through month June to August is our best season, and we invite experts, excellent students and teachers to come and teach at our university and host seminars and workshops at our university. So I hereby extend an invitation to you all to come and present at our university this summer. And also, I have led the energy team, the hydro team, and also the Tibetan medicine team, as well as several other expert teams from Tsinghua University. And it is the excellence brought by these teams that had improved our teaching quality. Because of the time constraint, I will wrap up here. Thank you very much, Professor Wang Guangqian. Professor Song Yonghua, please. First of all, on behalf of overseas universities, we are outside of mainland China, and we would like to extend a very heartfelt congratulations to Tsinghua University. I am the honorary chairman of the Alumnus Association of Macau. So I would like to also, as alumnus of this university, extend my own personal congratulations. We talk about greater openness, and we talk about globalization. And this is only one aspect of openness. I would like to talk about 3 points under that topic. First, we have all experienced the 40 years of reform and opening up, and the profound change this has brought to the Chinese society. And today, universities like Tsinghua University is ranked among the most excellent of its kind around the world, and it can host global university president forum like today's, and invite presidents from around the world to come and discuss these very important points. This cannot be even imagined 30 or 40 years ago, but we also need to have a very clear understanding that the pandemic and the changes in the geopolitics had brought about a series of very difficult challenges, and we do not yet have solutions. We need to have a full understanding of the level of difficulty. And so, first of all, we can't just stick to the original plan of opening up and reform. We need to be even more open, and the level of openness will be challenged. Global university presidents must see the changes in international situation impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. And secondly, we talked about digital technology before. The internet has offered us a plethora of opportunities. We can do a lot of things online, and we can do hybrid sessions online and offline. These can happen in meetings or teaching in our lecture rooms. But a lot of this effort is still very scattered and very reactive. And we have not yet formed a systemic way of organizing our teaching online or in a hybrid manner. And this is something that is very critical in the post-pandemic era. We need to be more open. How do we do that? We need to have a clear understanding of the meaning of the term. We need to collaborate with other partners in terms of research, teaching, and cultivation of our talents. We need to understand the new forms. We need to be brave to explore. When we have the new principles and new philosophies and new methods, we'll be able to find new pathways and solutions to counter the challenges brought about by geopolitics as well as the pandemic. Thirdly, every one of the university is in different regions and have different locations. And with regional and international collaboration, we can play different roles. For example, Macau is a 400-year-old place where East meets the West. And this is the biggest characteristic that we have, and it's the only polytechnic in Macau. We have to respect the local circumstances. We have Cantonese, Mandarin, and English as the three official languages.
80% of the faculties are coming from the international arena, including our president, vice president, and also the different deans of different faculties. It's fair to say that in the period before 40 years ago, which was dominated by isolation, that period of time in history was totally different versus right now. I believe that University of Macau, or the place of Macau, can play consistently a very important role in an open touch to the international arena, both 40 years ago and right now. So the University of Macau can have a lot to offer. And also, I have visited a lot of other countries' embassies to China. Well, they are actually have a lot of alumni graduates from Macau, and some of them actually are coming from the universities of even the South America. So I think this single point can demonstrate the uniqueness of Macau. Even at the time when the country was isolated and constrained, Macau still can have a lot to offer in the internationalization, I believe, not speak of right now, when the time offered us a very splendid opportunity to get in touch with the international arena. So University of Macau is more than willing to outreach and join hands with international universities to be more open to the world. Thank you. Thank you, President Song. I'm very sorry to give a very sudden surprise to President Wang, but still we offer two questions for you to answer in a very brief manner. So Mr. Zhou and Mr. Wang, because you have mentioned to be deeply rooted in China as a local university at the same time. Also, Professor Song and Professor Yang also mentioned that you have to be much more open to the world. How do you understand the term as top-notch or the world-class or first-class university? What is the definition of the world-class university? So Tsinghua University is just like a someone who is lifting heavy things, because the ecological and biological and including the solar power can be integrated into this plateau. And if we can integrate all of these elements very well, then we will become the top-notch or the world-class or top-class university. That is my definition of my own university as a top-notch university. Thank you. Like I have mentioned, the spirit and also the culture of a university are critical, and also the uniqueness and the characteristics of a certain university is also very important, which stand for the identity of the universities, especially when it comes to the national critical strategies. The university has to come in line with these strategies. For example, decades ago, at the time when the PRC was founded, a lot of industrial sectors are backward, because the 1920, the culture and also traditions, especially its engineering education and the development of the industry in Soviet Union, with former Soviet Union, had a great influence in China's education, I would say high education. And by that time, it was really in great need to have a huge number of engineers to divert into this construction of the infrastructure in the beginning of PRC. And that's when my university was established. And that is actually the prime time for Harbin Institute of Technology to be set up, to be founded. And also Professor Jia was the first president. And they also had very great connection with the central government officials and the leaders, and which also gained a lot of support from the central government and put a lot of efforts in the construction and the development of my institute. And after reform and opening up, Harbin Institute of Technology was in the responsibility of the Ministry of Aerospace. So during the period of the plan economy, the enrollment, examinations and reviews and approval and certification are all done and handled by the Ministry of Aerospace. And in the rural areas, if this enrollment or the measures and matters cannot be related with the Ministry of Aerospace, and there's no speak of the job opportunity in creation in a very remote and rural areas, because no people are willing to go there to work for places. So it's fair to say that the national strategies must be put at the core, at the center, and for the universities to conform to and to get in line with. That is my definition of top-notch university. Thank you, presidents and rectors. We have a very constraining timelines, and so just a very brief minute for all of you to give one sentence or several lines, because you felt the changes was very overriding and fundamental in time of the incoming challenges. And against this backdrop, you mentioned that you have to be proactive in opening. Please give us one or two lines to summarize your thoughts. So talking about the new energy development, although there is a constraint of the geological and geographical conditions, but the community shared by human beings has a huge definition, have a lot to do with the cooperation between the enterprises and the higher education, and I believe that is very critical. Also, through the internet and many other pathways, the knowledge can be circulated even wider and even more extensive. So the cooperation between the universities, especially cross-disciplinary universities' collaboration and cooperation, was very critical in coping with the issues like climate change, and also to attain the SDGs set forth by UN. While the top-notch or the world-class universities are supposed to be cooperating with each other. Thank you, and President Yang. Well, talking about the pressure brought by the COVID-19, which also brought a lot of uncertainties about the future perspectives, and that is also the future trend. We have mentioned to seize the opportunity and seize the time to open up. Opening up is actually the prime opportunity for the university to develop itself. COVID-19 is something we cannot decide on, but around this topic, we can do something else. For example, we can pipeline the talents of the science and technology, and also to prepare scientifically for the future uncertainties, and to pipeline the best youngsters to prepare for the issues related with the village of the planet. I say, okay, President Yang. I think the main topic about this issue, or the definition of top-notch universities, is to be engaged with the international arena and to gain the mutual understanding across different cultures against the different challenges. We would not assume other universities or other backgrounds to proactively understand us, but actually we have to take a step further. And the multi-cultural exchanges are the solution for a lot of the challenges that we face right now. The communications between the faculties and the students from different backgrounds, from different cultures and regions will lead to the future solutions. So we believe that we have to take initiative to step and stand out to communicate with the people of other regions and backgrounds. Thank you very much. Thank you for the discussion. I believe that universities can offer a lot to the sustainable development in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the panelists and moderator, Professor Wang Hui. We move into the second thematic discussion. First is Vice Chancellor Schmidt of the Australian National University. Please.
Hello, I'm Brian Schmidt, Vice Chancellor and President of the Australian National University. The last year has been particularly challenging for universities around the world. Here at ANU, we have experienced many of the same challenges as you, our colleagues at Tsinghua, shifting to online learning and not being able to see students face-to-face has been really hard for our staff and our students alike. Our campus is made up of a very diverse student body, and until we can have our international students here again, part of our campus community is missing. Universities also have an important role in responding to a crisis, to help shape and build resilience in our society. In Australia, before we were impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, we experienced the worst bushfires in our history. More than 1 billion animals were killed and thousands of Australians were displaced by fire and smoke and were living in fear. As the National University, our responsibility is to provide the stepping stones to build a better future, and we are doing this through our research and education in addressing climate change. With the world on a trajectory to exceed a 1.5 degrees Celsius increase above pre-industrial levels between 2027 and 2042, there must be no delay. No half measures. We need action, and we need it now. And that is where universities come in, to tackle the biggest challenges facing humanity, using our expertise and knowledge across decades to find and develop solutions. Here in Australia, where we are such a large per capita contributor to global emissions, but also rich with an abundance of natural renewable resources, the answer lies in scaling up clean energy generation as quickly as possible. It is also important that places of knowledge and learning like ours and yours play an active role in finding these solutions. In 2019, at the World Economic Forum, ANU, along with Tsinghua and 6 other leading institutions, formed the Global Alliance of Universities on Climate. This is our opportunity to lead the world towards a greener future by collaborating and working together. It is an important partnership for all of us. My university has already made a commitment to make our campus carbon negative by 2025. I am personally proud to be striving for this ambitious goal. Our Below Zero initiative is one of the many ways we are demonstrating our commitment to a greener future by using our research assets to help the world understand and fight climate change. We're also researching new technologies and more efficient ways to provide renewable energy to our region. This spans from rethinking technologies, including battery storage, to developing new ways of doing things like extracting rare earth metals, or igniting public policy conversations that allow citizens the opportunity to take control of their future. On a warming continent, more fires will start. This means we have to figure out a way to stop them from becoming full-scale bushfires. And that also means finding bushfires faster and more accurately. We can then deploy a rapid response to prevent disaster. So this is why in 2020, we established the ANU Optus Bushfire Research Center of Excellence with the practical goal of developing a revolutionary national system to detect fires as soon as they start, and then put them out within minutes. It's the fruit of over 25 years of research. There are many ways universities can contribute to building resilience, and I would welcome the opportunity for my academics or me to continue this conversation with you. In the meantime, congratulations again on your 110th anniversary, and I thank you for inviting me to participate today. I am sorry that the COVID-19 pandemic has prevented me from attending in person, but I look forward to returning to your campus in the very near future.
Thank you. What an enlightening start to this discussion. Now, we have President Tan of National University of Singapore.
On behalf of the National University of Singapore, I offer my warmest congratulations to Tsinghua University on the occasion of its 110th anniversary this year, at a time when it is more crucial than ever that universities work together to promote more cohesive and resilient societies for the future. If you look at the histories of NUS and Tsinghua, you will find many surprising commonalities. NUS, for example, celebrated its 115th anniversary last year. So there's only a difference of about 5 years between the two universities. Both universities were established in the early 20th century, and both witnessed major historical upheavals and societal disruption. Both were deeply imbued from the beginning with an ethos of service to society and a fierce determination to excel and succeed. In more recent years, both universities have stepped onto the global stage. Tsinghua has done exceptionally well and is now considered among the leading universities of Asia and in the world. Today, NUS and Tsinghua share many links and exchanges. We have our popular student exchanges, as well as research programs such as the NUS Tsinghua Design Research Initiative for Sharing Cities, and NUS Tsinghua Southampton Center for Extreme Search. I'm confident that with Asia's rise and China's continued development, there will be more exciting opportunities ahead for NUS and Tsinghua to explore and collaborate. Tsinghua is a forward-looking institution, deeply committed to preparing for the future. It has embarked on ambitious and sweeping innovations, such as fully embracing a multidisciplinary model for undergraduate education. In research, Tsinghua has focused on interdisciplinarity to drive innovation and generate research outcomes that support national strategic objectives. Tsinghua has also continued to set the pace for global excellence with its double first-class university, and first-class disciplines development plan. The impact of COVID-19 has demonstrated how interconnected our world has become. As the world recovers and rebuilds from the pandemic, there is growing public support that issues such as sustainable development, equality of opportunities, and the well-being of individuals and the community should take priority. Societies firmly rooted in such aspects will have greater inclusivity, cohesiveness, sustainability, and equitability. They will be more resilient and adaptable, offering continuous opportunities for their members to thrive and grow. Universities will have to carefully consider how we can meet the new expectations of society. We may be required to question fundamental assumptions such as moving from a model of pre-employment training to continuous lifelong learning. In research, we need to consider how research advances can be seamlessly integrated into holistic and comprehensive frameworks to solve complex challenges. To meet these challenges, universities will have to transform and innovate successfully. By doing so, we will increase our resilience and dynamism and raise our contributions to society. I offer my congratulations once again to Tsinghua University as she celebrates the 110th anniversary, and wish all in the university every success in the future.
Thank you. Wonderful perspectives shared by President Tan. We now have the Vice Chancellor Kiyama of the University of Nairobi.
Greetings to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by appreciating the President of Tsinghua University for convening the Global Forum of University Presidents 2021. This forum brings together more than 110 universities to explore emerging aspirations for global higher education and global collaboration between universities and research institutions under the theme, Innovate for the Future. This is happening at a time when Tsinghua University is celebrating its 110th anniversary. I take this special moment to congratulate the university for the very laudable achievements and the contributions it has made in the periods of its existence. We at the University of Nairobi are also celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. The COVID-19 pandemic and the associated challenges have of course helped to test our resilience to the limit. I am confident to confirm that the University of Nairobi has passed the test. Some of the universities in the region were caught off guard, resulting in a serious disruption of teaching, learning, and research. Our investment as a university on ICT technology and appropriate human resource came very handy in the transitioning period. Mr. President and all participants, the thrust of my remarks today will be on building more resilient universities for the future. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties or challenges and the ability to bounce back and adapt. The COVID-19 pandemic has underscored the need for flexibility and resilience in higher education. We have learned very good lessons. Necessity is surely the best teacher. Universities are normally very rigid and traditional. There was therefore a real danger of becoming extinct if we were not resilient and if we did not change fast. We have learned of the need to be more resilient in the way we carry out our business. Continuous innovation in higher education will help universities to remain relevant to the communities that founded them. Simply put, universities should not remain rigid. They have to be able to respond quickly to community needs, work across various disciplines, create value, and empower everyone as change makers, be it to their students, to their staff, faculty, administrators, and the community members. A university that is not resilient, that does not add value or respond to its society, will be rendered irrelevant. Universities thrive on relevance. Universities must be resilient. Mr. President, we are living in a disruptive age of technology, a key feature of fourth industrial revolution that has had profound effect on the way we live, the way we relate, the way we conduct our business, and yet we cannot clearly fathom how it will impact on us in the future. Universities should be resilient in this technological age. Higher education institutions should harness the opportunities in this technological age and pass the benefits to all through enhancing access, equity, and collaboration. Building resilience in universities requires strong partnership. Collective global responsibilities where various universities bring in their unique strengths to respond to emerging global challenges and engaging together in developing sustainable solutions. I note with appreciation that collaborations will be a catalyst of adoption of new technologies. The synergy brought about by collaboration will increase trust and confidence in the stakeholders. This will also ensure positive peer influence and enhancement of quality. There is no alternative to quality education, even as we fast adopt change. Thus, universities need to collaborate and exchange at institutional, national, and international levels, and to make sure that the future is shaped together for the better of all. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, building resilient higher education institutions require visionary, transformative, and innovative leadership. Leaders committed to rewiring their institutions for change. Leadership is a critical pillar on building resilient organizations for the future. There is no doubt that the COVID-19 pandemic has tested and helped many of us to understand ourselves better as leaders of higher education institutions. I'm better now than when COVID-19 was declared a pandemic. I believe you too are better. Thank you, and God bless you richly.
Thank you. What an illuminating speech. Let's welcome President Hoffmann of the Technical University of Munich.
Dear President Chiu, dear presidents, partners, colleagues, and friends. As President of the Technical University of Munich, it is my great pleasure to address the Global Forum of University Presidents, which has been organized in honor of 110 years of academic excellence at Tsinghua University. On behalf of the entire TUM community, I once more convey our sincerest congratulations. Tsinghua's proud history has taught us that universities can live up to their fullest potential if they continue to overcome the limits of our own thinking and boundaries that separate man-defined disciplines, different cultures, and the diverse talents of people alike. It is my firm belief that the future will increasingly call on our universities to become even more impactful spaces of integration, with view to scientific and intellectual knowledge creation, with an eye on how we attract, develop, and retain people and promote their talents. And most important, with the sound understanding that universities of the future are not considered as a first-tier intellectual ivory tower, but are rather fully integrated key players in larger economic, societal, and cultural ecosystems. Integrative universities continuously work at the pulse of the future because they allow for a broad exchange of knowledge and motivation, the integration of new ideas and working methods across disciplinary, institutional, cultural, and generational boundaries. Indeed, efficiently creating integrative system approaches is a decisive success factor when it comes to exploring as yet uncharted transdisciplinary areas of research, education, and innovation. It is for this reason that after more than 150 years, we at TUM are transforming our organizational structure, moving from a large number of additively grown departments to a matrix organization that will promote innovation. We are creating 7 schools covering the entire portfolio of major scientific domains, which will serve to form an identity and provide calibration within international scientific communities. And to dynamize academic interactivity and to draw on the intelligence of the entire university community on transdisciplinary challenges, integrative research centers are positioned at the interfaces between these schools. These centers will address system-wide challenges and wide-ranging, future-focused issues through multidisciplinary approaches in research and innovation. And to ensure our university's mandate to innovate in a responsible way, we also need to more effectively align your innovation processes to the values, needs, and expectations of society. Political, social, and ethical implications need to be taken into account. Therefore, we are significantly expanding our portfolio of technically oriented humanities and social sciences, and we give them sufficient integrative and educational capacity to benefit natural sciences, engineering, life sciences, and medicine, as the leitmotif of our mission of human-centered and responsible innovation. On this mission, integrative universities are turning into global marketplaces of knowledge exchange. They integrate and engage partners in their regional communities. They connect them to trusted alliances with global partners in research, education, business, and society, and appreciate a larger ecosystems they serve. Integrative universities enable bright minds from the worlds of science, business, politics, and society to gather and pool their talents, exchange ideas, inspire one another, challenge one another, upskill through continuous learning, and collaborate in promising fields of innovation, with the common goal of creating real-world impact and shaping tomorrow's society. This will further transform our universities into seedbeds of innovation that effectively stimulate encounters between talents who hail from around the globe, who enrich our campus environment with their diverse cultural backgrounds and identities, and who bring to the table intergenerational experiences, perspectives, and attitudes alike. I'm confident that as we begin to even further engage in global knowledge creation, and as we nurture even more diverse communities, our universities will become more integrative, more inclusive spaces of encounter between people, their ideas, and the society of the future that we are going to shape. Let us join forces along these lines so that we can best contribute to technological, economic, and societal progress. I look forward to embarking on this journey with you all, and I'm excited to see where it may take us. Many thanks.
Very brilliant insights indeed. We now have Rector Sanchez of the Catholic University of Chile.
I would like to give my congratulations to Tsinghua University in this seminar that celebrates the 110th anniversary of the institution. More integrative universities. This is the topic that you would like for me to give you some thoughts and some ideas on the issue. And I guess when you discuss about integrative and you discuss about universities, you should think about what is happening during the pandemic. What is the role of the universities around the world during the pandemic? And our experience in Chile is that the university system was very integrated and was doing a collaborative job and work in different fields. And that was the only way to overcome and to tackle the circumstances of the pandemic that affect the sanitary issue, the employment issue, the educational issue from our people. A year ago, to face the pandemic, most of the universities in Chile were working together in different fields. In the lab exams to detect the virus, in some protections, clothes for the workers, finding new ways to ventilate the people, finding new ways to affect the immunizations of the people, searching for new vaccines, doing some protocols for clinical trials from the vaccines, etc. But also, I would like to point out the work that was done in some humanistic areas. Priority area like the guidelines for ethical behavioral during the pandemic, ethical behavioral that includes the management of the data, that includes also the perspective of the sanitary approach in regards to hospital beds, in regards to intensive care derivation, in regards to who is putting on the ventilator and for what reason. Also, ethical guidelines in regards to the spiritual and the family company during the last days from the more sick patients, etc. Also, the universities were very important institutions in recommend new guidelines for a more integrative curriculum from the schools. They were very important in regards to subsidize money and all the different subsidies for the people that didn't have jobs, from unemployment for poor people. Because when you have such a disaster like has been the pandemic, you have to focus the resources from the country. And in this analysis, in this research approach, I guess the universities are crucial institutions. All that we have done has been a work in collaboration with the national institutions and also an open work with different institutions around the world, particularly with Tsinghua, also with universities in the States, universities in Europe. We have discussed through different seminars what is the experience of each country, what is the experience of each universities in regards to local problems and also global problems. In summary, I will say that during the pandemic, open universities, integrative universities, more broad approach from the universities has been putting in a challenge. And the only way to overcome this challenge is doing in collaboration, doing as a team, as a work team that starts from the collaboration between professors, researchers, and also from the whole institutions as Catholic University in Chile and Tsinghua, that we have collaboration in different fields like business, communications, law, and different areas in science. Thank you so much for your attention, and thank you for the opportunity to send this message to this seminar that celebrates the 110th anniversary of University of Tsinghua. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Insightful sentiments in that speech. We now turn to President Salovey of Yale University.
大家好. Hello, I'm Peter Salovey, President of Yale University. Thank you for inviting me to join you for the plenary session of the Global Forum of University Presidents and in celebrating Tsinghua University's 110th anniversary. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to speak with you about building and sustaining more integrative universities. I'll provide several examples from Yale. We're taking numerous steps to create a more integrative university. And this is not a matter of doing one or even a couple of things. Many of our efforts are intertwined and support one another in contributing to the overall environment on campus. One of my major goals as president of Yale is to forge collaborations between different parts of the university, making us more connected. Multidisciplinary collaborations are essential to solving the most complex problems. The major challenges we face in the 21st century cannot be addressed by any one discipline or department, or even one university. Our approach to becoming more integrative involves four main components: increasing the number of multidisciplinary majors and extracurricular opportunities for our students, providing faculty members research support that encourages collaboration across sectors and fields, creating new facilities to bring together scholars from different areas of expertise, and designing venues that draw people from all parts of campus for artistic performances, guest lectures, and informal discussions that can spark creative thinking and innovative collaborations. At Yale, new multidisciplinary majors teach students how to utilize a wide range of knowledge to solve problems. We recently introduced majors in neuroscience, statistics and data science, computer science and economics, and urban studies. Each of these majors benefits from the broad array of research strengths at Yale, and we have dual degree programs with partners across the world. Tsinghua and Yale, for example, have a Master of Science in Environmental Engineering, a dual degree program. It allows students from both of our universities to bolster their skills in environmental policy and management, and enhance their expertise in key areas of environmental engineering. We are also fostering problem solving through extracurricular programs that encourage innovation and entrepreneurship. The Tsai Center for Innovative Thinking at Yale was founded in 2017. It is a hub for students from across the university who want to create novel products or services to improve life. And we're investing in multidisciplinary faculty research. Yale has set aside funding for projects that span the arts, humanities, social sciences, and science and engineering, from basic research to application. The Blavatnik Fund, for example, encourages faculty members to close the gap between early-stage research and the successful development of products from market. And we have an uncommon environmental collaboration grant that fosters new research and teaching in climate change, urban planning, environmental health, data science, and other fields. We also are creating new spaces designed to bring together scholars from diverse disciplines. The Wu Tsai Institute at Yale is an ambitious research enterprise devoted to the study of human cognition by bringing the psychological, biological, and computational sciences together. The Humanities Quadrangle, the new home for the humanities at the heart of our campus, includes faculty and students from many departments. This physical proximity spurs creativity and encourages collaboration. The new Yale Jackson School of Global Affairs is bringing together scholars, policymakers, and practitioners working on international challenges like climate change and food insecurity. Every faculty member at the Jackson School will have a joint appointment in another school, connecting these scholars with different parts of the university. Finally, we design gathering spaces on campus that will bring together students, faculty members, and practitioners from around the globe. Recently, Yale completed the renovation of the Schwarzman Center, named for Yale alumnus Steve Schwarzman. This is an 88,300 square foot complex that will hold performances, exhibitions, and meetings. It has numerous dining and gathering spaces where ideas can be discussed and new partnerships can be formed. Mr. Schwarzman's generosity is something that has benefited both Yale and Tsinghua. Universities create knowledge and prepare leaders so we can solve the urgent problems we face as a global community. An integrative approach is crucial to our success. It fuels discoveries that improve lives today and in the future. I'm very grateful to Tsinghua University for convening this session on a topic that is critical to the future of higher education. 谢谢.
Thanks to all contributors. We enter the second roundtable discussion now. I invite the panelists to the stage. Wang Shuguo, President, Xi'an Jiaotong University. Dou Xiankang, President, Wuhan University. Lü Jian, President, Nanjing University. Tian Hongqi, President, Central South University. Bao Xinghe, President, University of Science and Technology of China. Distinguished Professor Xue Lan, Dean of the Schwarzman College at Tsinghua University, will moderate this session. Please.
Many thanks to President Yang, and without further ado, we will move on to this round of the discussion, more integrative and more resilient universities. As the theme of the discussion, the previous session have touched upon a lot of issues like the COVID-19 have brought a lot of challenges to the universities around the world. When we reflect the universities, for example, some universities even enjoy 900 years. 900 years, so we believe that their challenges that they have encountered much more than and beyond the landscape like COVID-19 can brought. But even with these challenges, but still the universities still stand a test against the test. And behind all of these challenges and the tests, and also behind these histories, what are the fundamental values created from these universities? Our discussion about universities, so I believe that this will fall into one topic in this discussion, that is integration and resilience of the universities. So today we're very happy to have the cast of the best presidents of the best universities around the world to share with us what can be done by the universities to increase the integration as well as the coexistence of the different societies, and how to intensify our resilience against all challenges and push forward the progress of the humanity. So we move to this topic discussion. The first, I'd like to address to President Wang. What is your understanding of more integrative and resilient universities in terms of integration? What challenges the universities will be mostly faced with? Thank you. I really admire you a lot. And previous discussion, the topic have some part to do with our topic already. Actually, they kind of deviated a little bit from their topic and touching something about our topic already. I think new revolution of technologies are very aggressive, and this round of industrial revolution quite different from the previous ones. And what's different about this one? Fundamentally different. The first three industrial revolutions only focused on some discipline or make breakthroughs in some specific industries, some specific disciplines, and some specific areas. But right now, we're experiencing a very comprehensive and omnipresent changes and fundamental transformations of all walks of society, all walks of life. And if I give a definition of the difference, that is really something leaping forward with a very gigantic manner. And also the revolution is developed from the 3D to 4D scenarios, and all the rules and also all the situations and the scenarios have to be broken into different fragments and then reintegrated together. And also, it would also nurture the new industries and new sectors, which would also be beyond our expectations as well. When we look back at the universities themselves, that is also the fruits and achievements of the social development. And I admire you because you are a very famous expert in the social sciences. And we actually had a lot of scholars specialized in the arts and literatures and disregarding the importance of the natural sciences when it comes to the research in the social issues. But I do not believe in this manner. I believe that both sciences are equally important. Talking about the aspects of the universities, which beyond our expectation. I remember one expert from UK have written a book, and in this book, it has been mentioned that the changes of the current universities from the previous generations of the universities are very fundamental. Why? Because we have nurtured a very excellent generation of scholars and a young generation of the students, and they have been taught with something fundamentally different from what has been taught in the previous generations. And also, I believe that the responsibility and the mission of the university is to lead the society into the future trend, and to also coin the future trend and to nurture the future talents. So your institute, your college, Schwarzman Institute, is an institute, an organization I really admire and had a very high expectation about. So the nurturing of the individualism and personality of the future generation of the scholars are very important, and in which they have to understand the future rules or the future rules of the games in the future. So then, if the local societies cannot satisfy their understanding about the world, then they have to go beyond the borders and go beyond the boundaries, and also go beyond the barriers of the disciplines and the societies and etc. And so I believe that your college and your institute is exactly falling to this definition. But the precondition of doing so is that the original structure of the knowledge, the original systems of the compilation of the knowledge has to be broken into different segments and fragments, and to reintegrate them together into a new system. Thank you so much for me. Thank you very much for this contribution. Very excellent insights. And the next question will be addressed to President Tou Xiankang from Wuhan University, talking about COVID-19 as the buzzword in the current times. Actually, huge challenges have been brought to universities, and also in the epicenter of Wuhan of the COVID-19, you must have very great thoughts about the influence of universities, especially against this backdrop. Many thanks to the previous speakers, and also the previous topic, very interesting because we have invited a lot of experts, and also I'm an alumni of Tsinghua University, so I had a very high expectation, also respect to this university. I felt that the biggest or the most tremendous relation with what we are going to touch upon is we are actually graduated from high school at the same year with President Chu of Tsinghua University. That is something in common between me and Tsinghua University. So I think openness, resilience, and integration and innovation are something that we have to force ourselves to satisfy, and logically and also rationally we have to interpret all of this concept in a more reasonable way. So the core values of the socialism and also the different values from different backgrounds has to be merged and integrated together in a reasonable and a rational manner. And in the beginning of talking about this concept, or in the beginning of the epidemic, well, actually online education was also something new to all of us, including me myself, because Wuhan is the city you can never imagine to have a class or business as usual class. And then we come up with some solutions as to how to open the class online and in what way that we can provide the courses to the students online, and how and what can we do to improve the results and also the effect of the online courses and online classmates. Then we do some evaluation to these courses put on online, and we combine the online and offline courses all together. Those with a very good results of the evaluation will be put online continuously. While at the same time, we also respect the students as well. And immediately after the epidemic is over in Wuhan, we made a promise. Because we made a promise to Tsinghua University that we had to have a celebration after the epidemic is over to celebrate the winning and the victory. And Tsinghua failed to set up this offline celebration because of the epidemic spread to Beijing in June. But luckily, we had a lot of chances and opportunity to set up different ways of communications. And last year in June, we set up a very good ceremony of graduation online and offline. And we have to guard and also protect this tradition of celebration for the graduation. And another question for us or in front of us is how to feedback the society and what role and responsibility played by the university to also do the contribution to the society. Well, during the 2 months of the epicenter, and we have actually accommodated at least 20% of the patients of COVID-19 in Wuhan city. By that time, the president told me that we're short of people, we're short of staff, we're short of supplies, we're actually short of everything. Well, I told him that at this current time, and we need the support, and the Wuhan people need support. And we also have to allocate the limited resources and supplies to the forefront of the battle against COVID-19 in Wuhan without any hesitation. And also we conduct international collaborations and exchanges around the topic of COVID-19 with international experts and scholars and also the researchers in the different colleges and universities of different countries. Well, exchanges were conducted in a very, very excellent manner. We received a lot, and also vice versa. Harvard University also, I remember, President of Harvard University also conducted a lot of exchanges with us in person, online, and the event were held in a very successful manner. Well, epidemic disrupted our communications, but conversely, it also deepened our necessity to have a dive-in understanding between each other to tackle the climate change and environmental issues. The university-to-university communication exchanges are very critical and essential. Thank you. That's all for my sharing in this question. Thank you, President Dou, for your sharing. Next question is addressed to President Liu from Nanjing University. Looking forward into the future, to build the resilience of the universities, so what has to be done for the university to withstand the future challenges from human beings' perspective? Thank you. Talking about the University of Bologna University, which had as long as 900 years of history. So it also reminded me in a retrospective way about the history. We have to go beyond history, based on history, to look into the future. And Tsinghua University is actually a place with high prestige and high influence and a very high image from different aspects. First of all, in terms of the development perspective, especially in the whole and the long course of the human development, we maintained 1,000 years of resilience, and we're looking for the reason behind this long-term resilience. I myself have found some answer. Probably you would not agree with me. Actually, I think the university has twofold capability. The first one is that it can be poised against all kinds of changes. The second is to be based on the current times and face up with the different changes in the future by adapting to the changes. Because we have the community of the best universities, collectively they can answer the three basic questions I'm going to raise. The first one is how to train and what people that universities are going to train, and these people or talents are trained for what purposes and for whom. And the second is the purpose and the missions of the university, and where is the origin of the universities, and where is the future direction of the development of the universities. And from my university also proposed the slogan, which is the relying on our own virtue and then to prospect into the future and a huge landscape of the universities. We have to support and guide the future trend of the universities going forward. If we even lift this up a little bit, we have to seize the time. And when we look at the reality, we have to combine the realistic ability with our perspectives. And to summarize it into several words, the first one is the two macro situations. The first one is the fundamental strategic positionings of the Chinese nation. The second is the unprecedented opportunities brought by the century. For the first situation, which is the integration of the scientific and the Industrial Revolution. And collectively, I believe that is the community of the shared future by humankind as a top-level topic. Under this topic, I believe the universities has to join hands together to get in front of the waves and the tides of the trend to withstand the challenges brought by the new revolutions of the industry and to realize the dream of the nations and also to find out the direction and destination of the national development.
So as universities, we need to work together to face the future challenges and seize opportunities. And we need to reflect upon the three important points that I just mentioned. And in that process, only with reflection can we reshape the vision and missions of universities, and can we optimize our institutional arrangements, our structures, our functions, and our operations. So we really need to revolutionize universities, and we need to stay current, stay proactive in looking forward to new diagrams so that we can build ourselves into world-class universities. Again, I would like to extend my most sincere congratulations on the 110th anniversary of Tsinghua University, and wish you all the way best in the future and more brilliant achievements. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your wonderful sharing. Now, my next question goes to President Tian Hongqi. So what do you think defines a resilient university? But to be resilient, what challenges are ahead for universities in the future? Well, Mr. Yu has given us a very marvelous sharing. I agree with him completely. I do believe that universities should be better connected and should mutually share with each other so that they can really lead and shape the future. And universities should build them into the most open, inclusive, and resilient entities. I personally believe that the resilience of universities That's not just embedded in its features. More than that, universities should develop their abilities to respond to crisis, to adapt to the changing environment, to reshape themselves based on those changes. That is resilience. So about addressing challenges, from the perspective of our university, Central South University, we will continuously devote ourselves into contributing to our country's national development, social and economic development, and the development and the progress of our society and culture. In our university, we enjoy specific strengths. We boast the most comprehensive ferrous and non-ferrous metallurgy discipline, and also the best developed production chains and the supporting academic system. And also we have made tremendous contribution to the building of the modern railway system in China, including Tibet and other areas. And also we are strong in medical science. So in our university, we always say that we really need to expand our mining scale. We need to build more roads, more railways, and we need to provide our support for the science and technology development of our country. So that is what we mean by being resilient in this modern age. But word can never speak louder than actions. So we must put what we say or plan into practice. We really need to fulfill these plans or objectives. And all these plans must be based on social needs. But we also want to make sure that we are right there to help our people and our country in face of challenges or even crisis. So last but not least, again, my sincere congratulations to the 110th anniversary of Tsinghua University, and I wish you all the best and even better in the future. Okay, thank you, Madam Tian, for your sharing. The last question now goes to President Bao Xinghe. Now we are building a more integrative universities. So now we need to undertake more social responsibilities. How would you do, and what is your idea? Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here. Well, actually, at our 60th anniversary, President Chu made remarks about how we can better integrate. And our Secretary General Liu Dai also reinforced that notion. So here I am for the 110th anniversary of Tsinghua University. Again, we are here talking about integration of universities, because our university was established in Beijing. Actually, it is one of the results of China building its own scientific programs of atom bombs and satellites. So ever since then, we have been a very important player in the development of China's science and technologies. And right now we have been developing with our own pace and our own strengths. So I believe this itself, our development is a kind of integration into our national policy implementation and social development. So actually, I'm here for this forum. So what I'm going to share with you is, from my own personal perspective, how we as universities facing all these unprecedented changes make our contribution. How can we integrate engineering and science? Because one of our motto is to make sure we support our national development with science and technology. So actually, we know there were times when Chinese universities used to separate science from engineering. But actually, very soon, visionary scientists and our national policymakers started to realize it is important for science and engineering to be combined, to be integrated. And also, some scientific questions are very profound questions, both in theory or in practice. But if it just stay in some specific areas, they would just remain theoretical subjects or the subjects in scientific research. And with that, all these research results would find it hard to be commercialized, to be applied in real life and then benefit the world. Another observation is that we know that our university used to not have medical science, but right now our university is really good at medical science. But we know that modern medical science has started to focus more on clinical research and practice. And the fundamental researches have already been closely combined and integrated with the clinical research. So for students, what they learn should not just come from classrooms, but also from hospitals. So in our curriculum development, we also made some very relevant adjustment. And our immunity science has been a leading area in our university, for example. So we soon turned our fundamental research result into practice and invented a lot of therapies or been included in the national major projects and brought a lot of benefits to the patients. So again, all these examples demonstrate how important it is to integrate different disciplines and to work with other universities. So in our university, our students are required to major in common courses, and then 2 years later, they can choose their own specialized areas to further their study. Well, then that's my personal perspective. But anyway, I believe that the liberal arts and science and engineering should all be integrated in our curriculum development. And only with that can we make sure our students develop themselves comprehensively, so not just be equipped with knowledge or skills, but also build up their minds. And only with that, they can really tackle the challenges ahead. Because in real world, they need to have a clear direction before they can move forward. So only knowledge or skills are not enough. And they need to develop things like critical thinking, ethics, spirit of innovation, and intellectual challenge, and open inquiry, things like that. These are important qualities for students in this modern age if they want to be innovative in their own fields. This is very important. I always believe that innovation, to some extent, share a lot of common grounds with arts. So knowledge and skills lay the foundation, but also students, when they need to innovate, they need to be inspired. So it is really important for them to learn both liberal arts and science and engineering. So for universities to continuously succeed in their own fields and disciplines, they need to be integrative. Thank you very much, President Bao, for sharing. Now I still have 2 more questions. One is about integration. When universities are going global, your universities must have a lot of opportunities for international cooperation and communication. So in that regard, what do you think you might have as challenges or opportunities, and how do you plan to address those challenges and seize opportunities? And many of you mentioned about your response during the COVID-19 pandemic in the past 1 year, but also we see that thanks to internet, we will sometimes have to face some pressures from the general public. How can we build our universities to be more resilient when they're facing the general public or pressures from the society?
I need to talk on this topic because I have the task of answering the question. Everyone congratulated Tsinghua on its 110th birthday. I have to take this opportunity to extend my congratulations on behalf of Xi'an Jiaotong University. Congratulations to Tsinghua University, otherwise I would have been too impolite. Then I'll be answering the question, the final question raised by Professor Xue Lan. The final question is very critical. As the digital era comes, we have suddenly discovered that there are a lot of phenomena that were not willing to face. For example, social attitudes and public opinion. Sometimes you see a lot of these social opinions are quite superficial, but they create these opinion storms, and that take us by surprise. And they're irrational, but you can't say that they shouldn't exist because they exist for a reason. But we need to find out what we haven't been doing correctly or appropriately to have induced that opinion storm. And so the 4-dimensional space I was talking about was actually this weak link because we were not prepared for the 4D dimension, but we're already pushed into this new dimension. As researchers, we need to be rational and we need to create rules to govern those. But at the moment, the space is too big and we're developing too quickly. But before we have created the rules and we're facing the social opinions, we need to be composed. For example, if everyone's complaining, Tsinghua is really good. It's flawless. And so the only thing they can criticize is that Tsinghua graduates would leave the country and never come back. And then Tsinghua University does really well on this aspect. Tsinghua University never argues back. It always just does what it thinks is important. If you get carried away by the social opinion, you would spend too much of your time and energy on countering these arguments. That would mean that you wouldn't have the energy and time to carry out your mission. You need to have thoughts and you need to have a soul and spirit, and you then would have composure and you would then be very calm in the face of storms. Otherwise, you would be always carried away by the opinions of others, maybe by the society, maybe by the general public, maybe by a certain leader in the leadership. You should actually be composed in the face of criticisms as well as praises. And And every time when I think about these issues, I always benchmark myself against Tsinghua. And this is my answer to the final question. Thank you very much, Professor Wang, for those words of wisdom. Professor Dou, it's a very interesting topic. Talking about social media supervision. Now we're facing a lot more supervision compared to before. Almost everyone can issue a letter of complaint to you these days. And what we need to do is we need to be proactive. First of all, in today's society, when it is a digital era, we need to pay special attention to it. We need to be very quick in our responses. For example, with sexual assault cases, we need to be very accurate, very strict, and very quick in responding, because people don't accept these bad behaviors. But you cannot be carried away by internet opinion. We need to very quickly and accurately complete our investigations and then make our response. And then we have heard from Professor Wang before. There is a characteristic with the current society. Tsinghua actually does pretty well in this aspect. Wuhan University is actually a popular university on the internet. This is not something that applies to Tsinghua. In the past, I never had to deal with social media pressure or other media pressure, but once I come to Wuhan University, because of the extra amount of attention it receives, I have to deal with a lot of these public opinion issues. It is very stressful. So the most simple way to deal with it is to be quick and accurate. Rip the Band-Aid off. And this is the best way to deal with it. And we would task the University Council to complete all the academic investigation, and then we give the issue a fair judgment. And so we need to, first of all, recognize the change in the situation. We need to learn to proactively deal with it. And at the same time, we need to do what we do well. And so Tsinghua University, for example, what you need to do is to be the best university, not one of, but the best university. And so when you are facing the impact from the internet opinions, you would be composed. But if you cannot do this well, if you are not the top university in China, you would be in a very tricky situation. And so as we develop, we need to learn to gain composure. We need to remain calm. We need to do what we do well, and then mitigate that impact. Well, thank you very much, Professor Dou. Because of the time constraint, we will actually bring this discussion to an end. As we were talking about this, the presidents have shown a lot of in-depth thinking as well as very solid plans. And it is our hope and expectation that Chinese universities, along with our international peers, continue to make efforts to make our universities more open, more integrated, and more resilient. And this rounds up our roundtable discussion. Thank you very much for your wonderful inputs.
Thank you so much for all the panelists, your wisdom and the great insights. This forum has explored the evolving role of universities in ever-dynamic environments. One of the key threads of discussion throughout this forum has been universities' common commitment to serve society and address urgent challenges faced by humanity. We are thrilled that this forum has demonstrated concerted effort, meaningful engagement, and valuable perspectives from around the world. We are also mindful that there is much work that needs to be done, and that universities are expected to do more. GFUP consensus has been drafted with this in mind. It's my privilege to read the consensus. GFUP consensus. We, university presidents and participants in the Global Forum of University Presidents, held at Tsinghua University from 19th to 24th April 2021, have conducted extensive discussions concerning the future development of higher education and the evolving mission of universities during periods of rapid change. In addressing these themes, we find that the world is facing new challenges, which include public health crisis, equality and access, sustainability and climate change, and new uncertainties from the innovation of educational models through technological advancement. To meet these challenges, we recognize that universities must undertake greater social responsibilities by becoming more open to advance human knowledge, higher learning, and values that are compassionate, inclusive, and equitable. More integrative to serve local and global communities by breaking through physical boundaries, disciplinary barriers, and technological limitations. More resilient through innovative research for solutions to unprecedented global challenges and to thrive in globally chaotic environments. We hereby pledge our shared commitment to accelerate the development of higher education by fostering greater openness, integration, and resilience in our institutions. This consensus has been reached. It is inspiring to see that the outcomes and shared aspirations of this forum have been articulated in this way. It's time for me to invite Tsinghua University President Professor Qiu Yong to deliver closing remarks. Please, President Qiu.
Thank you to the speakers and the panelists in today's session, and to all the participants and the supporters of this Global Forum of University Presidents for your invaluable contributions. As we reflect on the vision and the new mission of universities, let's explore the current dynamic of higher education from 3 university mandates. 1. Universities are expected to remain steadfast in cultivating their values and identity. 2. Universities are expected to remain connected with each other. And 3. Universities are expected to remain focused on the future. The first mandate is for universities to remain steadfast in cultivating their values and identity. In Greek philosophy, Socrates proposed the care of the soul and the cultivation of virtues as the most important human obligations. Similarly, the Chinese philosopher Mencius was known to have said, 大人者，不是其赤子之心者也, which can be understood as to reach greatness or a state of leadership requires a pure heart mind. The same can be said of universities' faithful commitment to the cultivation of their core values and identity. This allows universities to stay true to their unique strengths and use these advantages for the benefit of all. Like many universities, Tsinghua has remained steadfast to its traditions and values. To thrive in challenging times, during World War II and the anti-fascist war, Chinese universities faced existential threats driven by their commitment to teaching and research. Tsinghua University, Peking University, and Nankai University temporarily merged and moved to China's southwest to form the National Southwest Associated University. The then Tsinghua president implored the university community to conduct practical science as a matter of national urgency, rather to meet that need amidst the tragedy and destruction of war. Tsinghua established 5 special research institutes: agriculture, aviation, radio, medical science, and national sensors. During the outbreak of COVID-19, the unique strengths of Tsinghua were on full display. Tsinghua immediately responded with proactive measures to cope with the outbreak, while remaining true to its commitment to educational excellence through technologies that enable real-time, interactive, and remote online teaching. Tsinghua launched a fully supported online learning environment in 2 weeks and started the spring term with online lectures that drew 57,000 Tsinghua students, faculty, staff, and alumni. The university delivered over 3,900 spring term courses without losing 1 day of instruction, marking the beginning of a profound transformation in teaching methodology. From then until now, Tsinghua students and faculty are actively supporting the fight against coronavirus. They are researching cures. They continue to join the front lines around the world, and they are always volunteering. Our subsidiaries and startups leverage their advantages towards the cause, while our broad network of alumni help in many ways. Tsinghua, like universities around the world, live out the spirit of cooperation and service, and bravely take on responsibility. Throughout the pandemic, universities continued to inspire through their unwavering commitment to education, research, and community service. In particular, universities have a vital role in vaccine development, contributing to the unprecedented efforts to inoculate the entire world population. Research efforts, real-time pandemic monitoring, and information sharing have contributed to the hope that humanity will soon overcome the health crisis. The second mandate is for universities to remain connected with each other. In 2016, Tsinghua University initiated the first global strategy in its history. We aimed to deepen our engagement with the world and to cultivate innovative talents who possess global competence. Together with our global partners, we established a range of collaborative initiatives: the Global Innovation Exchange Institute in Seattle, USA, the China-Italy Design Innovation Hub in Milan, Italy, Tsinghua's Southeast Asia Center in Bali, Indonesia, and Tsinghua Latin America Center in Santiago, Chile. We have witnessed the growing significance of university networks as well as collaborative initiatives with international organizations. As COVID-19 gained momentum in the first half of 2020, Tsinghua harnessed its international ties to support students, provide emergency assistance, and advance commonly held best practices. In April 2020, Tsinghua and UNESCO jointly initiated special dialogue and explored the challenges of online education during the pandemic and announced greater global accessibility to Tsinhua's online educational resources to help mitigate the impact as students in the most severely affected areas of China, Tsinghua expanded its social engagement by offering over 1,900 courses openly available to the public. The university also provided classes to universities in stricken areas of Hubei province and other regions throughout China. To minimize disruption to graduating students, the university extended its resources and partnerships to over 100 universities in Hubei and organized a number of online recruitment sessions. The desire to look outward and stay connected to others in need was embodied by volunteer groups, such as Tsinghua's postgraduate voluntary teaching corps. Despite the extraordinary challenges during the pandemic, they continued decades of service in rural and remote environments to provide education and contribute to national poverty alleviation efforts in places where people need us most. Similarly, universities are leading the charge to solve the problems presented by climate change. In May 2019, the Global Alliance of Universities on Climate was officially launched in Tsinghua University. The alliance facilitates great levels of collaboration on climate issues, greater engagement with climate stakeholders, and the worldwide promotion of environmental practices advanced by universities. We are proud of these collaborative achievements and the demonstration of confidence they hold for future leadership in the fields of public health, climate change, and online education. The third mandate is for universities to remain focused on the future by embracing innovation. Human civilization aspires to the ideals and the values that universities embody. Universities inherit knowledge and culture and cultivate future talent through borderless collaboration with governments, enterprises, and international organizations. Despite the uncertainty caused by COVID-19, technology has offered credible solutions to an unprecedented problem. Online tools and advanced technologies have propelled the development of teaching and learning. These developments have the potential to address the problem of inequality in education. At the time of the crisis, I said that screens are not the barriers for interactions, but new bridges between faculty and students. Acting on my commitment to this principle, I was proud to co-launch the Global MOOC Alliance last December. This network of universities and online education platform facilitate international cooperation and exchange in educational technologies. Its members are implementing online education standards across the world. I'm confident that the network will make a significant contribution towards achieving the UN SDG number 4 to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. These initiatives, like many others highlighted during the forum, have underscored universities' common commitment to serve society and address urgent challenges faced by humanity. It is inspiring to say that the outcomes of this forum have been articulated in the consensus. Expanding on the core ideas of this consensus, we believe universities should become more open, more integrative, and more resilient in the future. First, more open, universities promote inclusive environment to address the challenges of this new era. Universities' openness contributes to the development of its country, the well-being of its people, and the progress of human civilization. Openness promotes values that are compassionate, inclusive, and equitable. Openness encourages great understanding and overcomes anxiety and uncertainty. Greater openness expands students' understanding of the world and supports the promotion of global and leadership competences. Universities that are more open are better committed to collaborative programs and research that advance human knowledge and cultural understanding. Second, more integrative. Universities break through physical boundaries, disciplinary barriers, and technological limitations to make great contributions to society. More integrative is about satisfying diverse learning needs from different groups. It is about providing innovative solutions from interdisciplinary perspectives and strengthening cross-sector engagement with societies, governments, international organizations, and industries. It's my hope that universities' education will achieve a more in-depth and more natural integrations in class and after class, on and off campus, domestic and foreign, online and offline. Universities that are more open and integrative will shoulder greater responsibilities. Third, more resilient. Universities demonstrate their resilience by continuing to strive as one of the oldest institutions in existence. Being more resilient is about adaptive strength, anticipating need, and exhibiting leadership that inspires. When crises hit, our resilience enables us to rise to meet the challenges and to transform them into opportunities to grow and learn. I'm convinced that universities will play an irreplaceable role in tackling global challenges and will make humanity better prepared for future crises by creating knowledge, striving for innovation, and cultivating leaders and change makers. Ladies and gentlemen, this forum has addressed the complexity of higher education. It has sparked a collaborative spirit in pursuit of greater synergy among universities, and it has enhanced the capacity of universities to define and redefine their collective vision and mission. Looking to the future, universities will shoulder ever-increasing responsibility to solve common challenges faced by humanity. This is a future in which we can be fully confident. With the optimism and unity that this global forum has instilled, I hope you will see the consensus as a new starting point, one that will guide our vision and mission going forward, a rallying call that our actions speak louder than words, and to carry forward the excellence and innovation that universities have represented for millennia. The contributions made by all participants and supporters of this forum have led to a great aspiration of the lasting impact which this forum will leave for future generations. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, President Chu. That brings our Global Forum of University Presidents 2021 to the end. But rather than thinking of this as a conclusion, Tsinghua invites all participants to continue this dialogue and to follow up our discussions with concrete action. Please allow me to convey Tsinghua's heartfelt appreciation to all participants and supporters of this event. Thanks also to our brilliant organizers, media, interpreters, and volunteers as we sign off from the Global Forum of University Presidents 2021. Thank you and goodbye for now. Goodbye, all the audience on-site and online. Goodbye. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.